divine feminine, that kind of energy that is unknowable, that is kind of all that is what kind of creates, even just like this female is in the shell, like within the situation. This looks to me like it's more an act of creation, like with the Ace of Wands. It's almost like, and I don't know, this will be interesting to see if we do another I Ching, if we're getting closer to this, but it almost looks to me like it's saying it's not so much, if you look at this as a problem because of all the differences that one has and all of that kind of thing, and do you just try and do a magic spell and make it all right or whatever, or spiritually all meditate together and pray? That's actually missing the point. Go back to the concept of co-creation. We aren't the main energy, but we can almost, it's almost like inseminating it, to be honest. It's like what would you do to create? Like, so instead of go back to first principles and create, rather than think about the mess that we're in at the moment, think about what we would create, because it almost looks like there is a things from like almost the childhood of mankind and our own childhoods and all this sort of stuff where the stuff of the world and the stuff of materiality and ego and all that kind of thing, and what we learnt when we were young, we've almost got to kind of let that go, and it's like going to school in a different way, a school to be independent. So it's almost, instead of asking like how do we influence, to bring everything together to get rid of the conflict, it's almost like how do we go back to first principles and re-educate ourselves to create an independence from I guess the darker energies or any of that kind of thing. It's like how do we unlearn? How do we yeah, kind of erase, like get tabula rasa, because this is about learning for independence. And in the material world, like to be able to create something, to do that, you've almost got to go back to first principles. There's something like something's happened in the way that humanity has developed itself, particularly materially and ego wise, that lost the innocence. So we have to learn again. That's kind of what that looks like to me. Does that make sense to you, what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
Just going to change it back over so if we think instead of how do we, get together, merge all our things, be nicer to each other and all this sort of stuff, which is all problem solving a situation, but go back to first principles and say, how would we design it ourselves? How would we get past all that and unlearn things so that we can learn something that makes us, if spiritually we're like toddlers and we never really grew up, maybe how do we